Good afternoon, everybody. Wanted to go ahead and welcome you to our webinar with Derek Marin today. We are very excited to have him join us and talk to you guys, the MSP heroes of the COVID-19 pandemic that we are all experiencing at this time. I'd like to go ahead and introduce you to our presenter today. Derek Marin is the founder of Simple Selling, and he has brought together some great ideas for you, the MSP, to put into use during this time to help keep your business running and even be able to grow it. Just a few housekeeping rules. Feel free to chat with us or ask questions throughout the whole presentation. I also did want to let you know that we are recording this webinar, so you'll be able to have access to the recording after we have finished today's session. So with that, I would like to go ahead and hand it over to Derek now.
Great, thanks, Erin. Hey, folks, appreciate everyone joining. I'm excited to go through the material with you guys today. It's going to be action-packed in terms of, it's not going to be a lot of talk around, high-level strategy and what to do during the present time. It's more on a step-by-step campaign that we want to try to give you today to bring you value. I know you guys are working very hard, so I appreciate you coming in. So just wanted to start off with the mindset here. I think it's just really important. You guys are sacrificing time to talk about sales and marketing. You already have the right mindset, right? The question isn't who's going to stop you. It's rather excuse me. It's the question isn't who's going to let me. It's who's going to stop me, right? So that is the mentality, and that we need to have now, and especially now. As we continue to move forward with our respective businesses. So, Erin, if you can, I'm not sure if I can control it. Okay, thank you. So like I said, what we're going to do here is go through a campaign in a box, basically just a couple of steps that I'm going to walk you through that you can put into action, put into place for your MSP so you can drive some new business in April and May. This is very much this is a campaign that you can kind of do on your own. I mean, if ideally you have some individuals on your team who are either responsible for sales or on the marketing side to help you with this. But this campaign is put together in a way to hopefully work for any size MSP. So the points will be basically we're going to go through a success story, how you can capture a success or case study, because you guys are literally doing miracles right now for clients. So how can we capture that? When I say ask for feedback for 20 minutes, these are just timestamps that I estimate that it could literally take you to just to do that first step in this campaign. Second part will be actually getting the story from your client. I estimate half hour tops, although some clients will have less time, which may be a blessing. They can just send you an email or send you some information, and that would be an alternative way to get the story. So that's what we'll talk about there. And then once you kind of have the material to create your success story, I'll provide some tips on how, from a marketing perspective, how you can promote it, and then lastly, how the sales representatives on your team can also promote it. So we'll get right into it. Please do, by the way, if you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to ask Erin, put it in a panel. And I do want to say another thing, which is if you want all of the content that's in this presentation, but in much more detail with some templates in terms of copy that, for example, that you can use, don't forget to go to simpleselling.co. That's our website, and we got a chat bot there on the lower right hand corner that will just ask for your contact information, and we'll send you all of the material that I'm going to explain here. So just continue on. So asking for client feedback. So right now, I imagine hopefully most of your technicians have settled. Hopefully the ticket flow has gone down, and you guys are kind of, understanding now of things that may have gone very well for some clients, and maybe some things that didn't go so well, the things that can be improved. But there has to be some clients who are just ecstatic, um, to the extent that anyone can be happy these days, but really happy with what you've done to enable their company to continue to work. So the first thing is to think first about who are the clients that are the most satisfied right now with the remote access, for example, that you've enabled for them. And not only that, think through the industry that they're in. Uh, and is that an industry that is going to be and has been already potentially, because things are changing so rapidly, been impacted by COVID? So if you have a really happy client in an industry that is not as negatively impacted with in the short run, and there's a person at that at the company, at the client site, that would be a great person for you to get feedback from, that is who you want to focus on. Next, once you kind of have these folks in your mind, sorry, one more click here, Aaron. Sorry, I wish I could make it easier for you. Make the ask really light. So like I said, the ask, what I mean by that is once you've sort of isolated the client and the person, you don't want to necessarily so we're all just bombarded. We're trying to stay productive. So when you make an ask to everyone right now, try to make it really short, 5-10 minutes. And I'll show you some ways, like I said, in the campaign for how to do that. Next point, please, Aaron, is have the right person do the ask. Maybe some of you are thinking, oh, that would be me as the president or the sales director, or maybe you work in marketing, but maybe the technical account manager, or maybe the person who is actually doing the work might be the best person to actually ask the client for some of their time to talk about how it's going. Because we all have different levels of personal sort of levels of relationships, if you will, with these individuals. And so this is the critical part to enable this campaign to work. So having the right person, think about who that might be, is an important detail. And the last point here is you may want to ask for, in addition to asking to speak with them about their experience and to get a case study, you may want to throw in asking for a business review, and you can send them a link to your Google, to your business page, because we know that drives a lot of decision making when potential clients are looking online for an MSP, right? So you want to take advantage of people who are very happy with you. So if you can include that, definitely try to. I wouldn't do that necessarily in the initial ask, but maybe during the interview that you're doing with your client, if it's appropriate, feel free to mention it. Maybe you even have an email ready to send them right after you interview them with the link to Google Business for review. All right, let's move on to, and by the way, Aaron and folks, if you have any questions in the middle of all this, feel free. I'm just looking. I have two monitors. I have one monitor showing the actual presentation, another monitor in case any questions come up. So here's just an email example. Dear client, Tom, or whatever it is. Hope you're holding up well at home. Hey, would love to get your feedback on our recent work. It means a lot to us to hear the good and the bad. Can you give, and marketer, or marketer, that's just the name of the person at your MSP, or that could be you, that could be someone on your team. You just give me 10 minutes over Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever it is that you do, because you're really going to want to try to record the meeting that you have with them. Now, this is just one example. We'll have several examples. We will have several examples. This one is not really being outright in asking and saying that we're developing a case study. It's just asking for some time and for some feedback from them. So depending on how you want to approach it, I like emails to be very light. Think about your inbox right now. Like, do you really want to read a really long email? No. So try to keep your email and your ask very light. And this is just one of the examples that we have. I see the chat. Oh, okay. Oh, morning for some of you guys. Yes. All right. So the next part here is actually getting the story. So you guys know what you just did for your clients, right? you're billing your clients, and you know everything that was done. But what we're looking for in the purpose of the interview, the reason why you want to talk to someone is because you want to capture some of the emotional aspects. And we're all very emotional kind of right now, because a lot of things we're anxious, a lot of things are going on. So we don't want to like push it too hard, but the purpose, like the main purpose is to get some of the feelings and whatnot, and access. But again, this applies to any. Let me know. I'll just hang here. Hopefully it's. I won't continue until Aaron or someone says, "Am I back?" Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure where I got cut off, but I was just saying that we're trying to capture some of the business impact that your work had, not the technical things. So let's get right into it. So the first point, way to kind of get at this, Aaron. Oh yeah, so a logistics housekeeping thing. Try to prepare yourself and the person you're going to speak with for a 5 to 10 minute conversation, and you want to make sure you record it, because when you're talking to them, you don't want them to feel, you don't want to like have your head down typing notes in the background. You want to be completely engaged in in the feedback and the story that they're telling you. But it shouldn't be longer than 5 or 10, 15 minutes. Like, everyone knows what work was just done, and so it shouldn't take long. Okay, the next point. Come with some good questions. So again, there's different. You're trying to get at the to the emotional aspect. So more importantly, how did it impact their job? How did it impact their ability to their security and sense of security with their work in their company? How many people work at the company, right? What are the implications of keeping their business going? What, are they in the medical industry? What are they on the front lines? Are they are they manufacturing? Or maybe they're on, everyone has a story. So make sure you come in with some good questions. Don't ask the questions that you already have the answer to. You know your client, you know what industry they're in. Don't obviously come in knowing what to ask that's going to fill in those gaps that you need for the story. Next point. You want to ask for permission to create the story, to publish the story and to promote it on LinkedIn. So depending on how you asked, it may be, you just got to just be delicate about this. So definitely you need to ask their permission, and stick to what you're talking about, what they're talking about, which is the work that you did for them. And LinkedIn is really important. It's one where it's a network that at least our agency focuses pretty much all of our focus as far as social media is there. So prepare to, if you don't have it yet, have the corporate LinkedIn company page for your client ready. And if you haven't yet, send invitation connections at a personal level with the person that you're speaking with for this interview, the president, controller, CFO, the decision maker, the folks who have the most at stake. Do send connections to them. But in this particular bullet point, it's just asking permission to promote. I think I have one more bullet point here. It is to send a thank you gift card 5 minutes before you interview them. So, because think about this, if you spend 10, 15, 20 bucks, 25 bucks on Amazon credit or something like that, and you email it to this person who's giving you some of their time, and they get it just a couple minutes before you're talking to them, you're sending the message that you really appreciate that they're actually giving you some time for this, and you appreciate that they're willing to open up and to be a case study for your company. So it's a really small gesture that can go a long way, especially because you want them to be opening up as much as they can while you're speaking with them. So I'm just checking the question here. Should you ask before you even have the conversation if they'd be comfortable to share this on LinkedIn? If they don't, it may not be. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I was talking about there. So, I think it's sort of a case by case basis. It does kind of come down to who you pick. And you send me an email. Oh, uh, shoot. So sorry about this, guys. Um, I was just saying that in speaking with one of my MSP clients, like they email me every time there's a client that was really happy, and I always ask them, is this someone that's comfortable with me reaching out to them and for us to potentially do a case study? And he's like, yeah, this person loves that kind of stuff. Um, you just gotta kind of know who you're talking to beforehand, which I guess is kind of obvious, but it's a good thing to be conscious of as you're working through this. So. All right. Um, so, so what is the marketing team supposed to do? So, I guess we can just go point by point here. Feel free to go. So, you want to obviously you got to make the case study. So, you've just spoken with this person, and you recorded it. You have some notes. Maybe you took. The work that your team did. So you got to get this onto a page. And again, in the other material I can send you, I can give you some ways on how to transcribe it. There's some great resources out there that are very affordable for how to get this into a case study, into a nice beginning, middle, and end with success metrics and a good story woven in. So you want to make sure you obviously get that done. You want to update, if you can, your homepage. Remember, homepage on your website is where the majority of your traffic comes. Existing clients, prospects. The homepage is usually the best page for most companies. So you want to have some kind of a link to the case study from the homepage, preferably on one of the banners, maybe somewhere near the top, above the fold. Calls to action, those are like the little buttons that will bring people to landing pages to either get in touch with you, to download things. So it's a great opportunity to bring people to success stories. So update those for your if you can. Creating posts for LinkedIn. I kind of alluded to this in the previous slide, which is, hey, think about the posts that you can push out that link to your case study. Have those posts come from your president's personal LinkedIn. Schedule those out over the next 4 to 8 weeks, several times. There's many different ways you can slice and dice this type of case study, but also think about promoting it across your company's LinkedIn page. And don't forget to tag, for example, the client, the individuals who you interviewed, maybe some of the individuals who were mentioned in the story. Don't forget to mention or tag networking groups that are in your city. Don't forget to tag the city, hashtag, Boston, or in my case, I'm in Massachusetts, but wherever you're targeting. LinkedIn is super powerful. If you don't put enough into this bullet point that I'm mentioning, all of the other work it's going to be hard for it to lead into, for it to turn into much. So don't skip over this point. Oh, and yeah, the bonus was just to share with industry associations, press. If you go forward a slide here, Aaron, please, there is just an example of, so we did this, and we emailed journalists who are in Connecticut for one of my clients, and we just talked about some of the things that we've been doing for our clients, and we heard back, and the journalists interviewed our MSP, and everyone is looking for good news, right? Even the press, they're so tired and of covering all the bad stuff that's happening with this virus, that giving them something positive about a business that's actually busy, that's doing stuff to help other businesses, is really good. So it's actually an odd Hello? I still, okay. Apologies, guys. I guess we're getting used to this. It seems like it's going to be a thing. There aren't too many more slides here, fortunately. I was just saying, hey, this works. Like, get in touch with the press, local journalists. Everyone's looking for some good news. If your company's doing good work, this is a great opportunity to give the press, to give business associations and their members, etc. Good news. So it's a great way to promote your work. Okay, and let's get. Yeah, I could try that. That's a really good point. Hold on. Do you guys want me to? I'll keep going here, and because there isn't too much left, um, but I do think that's a good suggestion. Thanks, Scott. Um, for the sales team, so prospecting clients, neighbors, and competitors. So this client, right? Think of the companies that are near them, geographically speaking, right? That obviously fit your ideal profile. So because they know their neighbors, so those are good companies that your sales team can look up. Competitors, who are the actual direct competitors of your client? Those types of companies, this case study will resonate a tremendous amount with them. So do look that up. LinkedIn invite connections. So your sales representatives also should be, hopefully they're talking to multiple decision makers at the companies they're calling. So they can send invite connections to the presidents of these types of companies, prospects, and the CFOs, controllers. If there is an IT director, if that's a mid-sized company and you guys are trying to go after them, and that happens to be the focus for this type of client, then those folks. So definitely on a one-on-one basis, sales reps could be very busy in sharing the case study inside there as well. Don't forget sales reps should hopefully be thinking in their minds, what are all the other target accounts, the companies that we already have in the CRM that would love to, that may be interested in hearing about this case study. So don't want to overlook those. Oh, and of course, do not forget to have your sales rep, if you're in sales yourself, connect directly with the actual client, with the client individuals, right? Because they may be connected to their, those folks are obviously have connections with prospects. And so you can look through second, third degree connections that way and ask for introductions and things like that. So I think that's it, guys. This is very quick. I think just to recap, I mean, I've been talking here. I feel like I'm talking to myself because I can't hear anyone. But just remember why we're doing this, guys. I mean, you guys are working hard. Keep doing it, and be positive. Remember what you're doing this for, and you'll come out on top. That's it. That's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Derek. We do have a couple questions here. Someone asked, you did focus mainly on the LinkedIn aspect. Do you suggest using other social media platforms, or do you feel LinkedIn is the best way to go?
That's a great question. My agency focuses exclusively on LinkedIn because we like to look at the specific targeting capabilities in LinkedIn, and it's a B2B social network. So the right decision makers are there. We have context based on their profiles. Now that doesn't mean that, I mean, if particularly in the case of us, in this particular case for this campaign, like a great case study with companies that are in neighborhoods, and there's lots of business groups that are formed on Facebook. I'd say go ahead, like cross promote, absolutely publish it. And if you have your Facebook page, by all means. I think it's just harder to find the individuals who you may want to put this case study in front of on Facebook, because people on Facebook, they're not using like their corporate email per se as much. So that's my thought.
Great insight. Also, earlier in the presentation, you talked about reaching out to local journalistic outlets. Is there a specific way you find those, or do you just kind of, Google company and see if they'll do your story for you, or do
That's
you
a
use
good
connections?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what we did is we started looking at, so we know all the local publications and the local TV stations very easily, and we just started looking at what were the articles that the journalists were writing that were related to COVID. And we created an email that was like, hey Jane, we're a local IT company. We really appreciated this particular article, so we put the title of the article in the email. And we really liked what you're covering on COVID, and we read this article, and we just wanted to let you know that we're helping lots of companies with IT. Here's a little case study, and that was it. It was very short, but we did strategically try to find journalists that were local and that were covering the pandemic, and most of the material is obviously negative because of what's going on. So we thought shedding a positive light, and that got us some responses. And in one example, we got a very quick article. So
Awesome. Dan did mention too when you were talking about Facebook and stuff. He did mention that we should seriously look there as well as Instagram. With a lot
mm-hmm,
of people looking, working from home, it's definitely how we're trying to communicate and still feel like normal human beings with the
mm-hmm.
outside world. So
Yeah, yeah,
totally agree with that. So
totally.
awesome. Okay, so it looks like that has wrapped up some of our questions we have here. We did just want to point out that obviously go to simpleselling.co and you can get more ideas for a full campaign in a box. Derek even mentioned just fill out some information. They'll be happy to reach out to you and help you guys be able to expand your business during this time. Also, he did have a new an article released a few weeks ago on Smarter MSP. And if you want to go ahead and join smartermsp.com today, you can receive up-to-date industry news from various authors and industry insights that are happening now within the MSP industry, especially with every day changing. So with that, we say thank you. We hope you enjoyed our time together today, and we look forward to hearing from many of you soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, folks. Bye.